Very good. We have spent the last, I don't know how long, 20 minutes was it, considering the remaining issues. And I'm just going to set out what we propose. It's your decision in the heel of the reel, as they say. First of all, the first question was question 5. And we propose that a question 5B be added to meet the situation in relation to anonymous donations. And the wording, you'll see it's up on the screen. Do you think that anonymous donations to registered political parties and campaign groups should be prohibited? Yes. So that's the additional, yeah. Yes? We haven't specified that. And that was, I think it's true to say that was a deliberate decision. I'm right in that, isn't it?
Yeah, because effectively if anonymous donations are being made and you have to political parties, are you going to allow them in for election campaigns but not for referendum campaigns? So we've deliberately in this question not specified for practical purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we'd agreed to the original wording of what is now section 5A. Will we show that? All right, don't worry.
I can.
Yeah. So section 5 becomes section 5A. Yeah. And we've incorporated the amendments should develop and effectively implement, and we've added on the individuals at the end. So that will now be 5A, and you've seen 5B. Do you agree to the inclusion of 5B? I'd like a show of hands. Yeah, well that is decided on. Thank you very much. Then we'll go to question 8. And we're splitting question 8. And you see 8A there. Do you think it should be permissible to have more than 2 options on the ballot paper in a constitutional referendum? And then 8B. If there are more than 2 options on the ballot paper in a constitutional referendum, that outcome should be decided by first past the post or PR, STV. Maybe put a space between maybe the PR and the STV. Yeah, it might look better. And to the question go up.
Pardon?
Oh yeah, no, that's fine. Should question 8B go up to the top?
No.
Because
that's the same format that we use for other ones.
All right, I'll just go through that again. If there are more than 2 options on the ballot paper, this is at a referendum, in a constitutional referendum, the outcome should be decided by first past the post, and we've put that in inverted commas as you see, and PR, STV, that's proportional representation, single transferable vote, because that was the terminology I think that came from table 12, was it? No, table 10.
Table 8.
Oh, table 8, I'm getting confused, yeah, table 8. And we haven't added, as you will see, the third, which was another. And we were not that far too vague. So,
go back to 8.
So 8A, do you think it should be permissible to have more than 2 options on the ballot paper in a constitutional referendum? And a consequence of that is if there are more than 2 options on the ballot paper in a constitutional referendum, the outcome should be decided by either first past the post or proportional representation, single transferable vote. So do you want question 5 split like that, and that additional question 8, I should say, question 8. Do you want a question 8 split and the additional 8B included? Could I have a show of hands, please? Very good, thank you very much. Now,
there's a question there.
Sorry. Yeah.
Do you think it's a good use to multi-optional voting in referendums? If you vote no, that you don't think it's a good idea, you really can't vote for 8A and 8B.
Well, not necessarily. you may have a view on that. You may vote no, but you still may have a view if the majority votes yes, what should happen.
Okay.
Yeah, and we've had that in other ballots, haven't we? Frequently, yeah. Very good. Now I'll move on to question 10. We're adding 3. It's getting longer and longer. We're adding 3 further. I've been using the word elements. The main question is, which, if any, of these initiatives do you think should be introduced to try and increase voter turnout? And then we're adding lower, or should we say lowering? Lower the voting age to 16. Allow voting by otherwise eligible voters who are resident outside the state for no more than 5 years. That deals with the point that was raised. And to try and cover the other point, greater provision of voter education on referendums. Would you go back to the original question 10? Online, legal ability. And go back. I think it should be, would lowering the, or is it all right as it is? Yeah. Allow greater provision. Yeah, all right.
I think you need to vote on each of them in turn.
What?
I think you need to vote on the inclusion of each of them in turn.
All right, yeah. Sharon has suggested that it would be appropriate that if I asked you to vote on each of the additions separately. So that's what I'll do. Now, a show of hands, please, as to whether we should include I, that's lower the voting age to 16. Well, that's certainly a majority. Then paragraph J, allow voting by otherwise eligible voters who are resident outside the state for no more than 5 years. Show of hands, please. Very good. That's in favour of as well, in favour of inclusion. And the final one, K, greater provision of voter education and referendums. Again, that will be included. So essentially, that takes care of everything, except just as we rose there half an hour ago, somebody, I think from table 9, raised a point of clarification with Teresa in relation to question 11, and I'm going to ask Teresa to address that, if she would.
It's just to confirm that the 3 options covered all of the options that were discussed in the presentation yesterday. So it covers constitutional change, legislative change, and also veto of legislation, both rejective and abrogative.
Yeah, is that satisfactory? All right.
There's a question here.
Table 9, yeah.
Sorry, this might amount to nothing. I think there was a typo on question 10 with, that's not in the slide. You can't see it on the screen, but on the printed draft that we first got, there was options A to H, and above it, it had put an X in the box from A to F. Has that's been adjusted, I presume?
Yeah.
Grant. Okay.
You've amended that, have you? Yeah. Thank you very much for mentioning that. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we have a ballot paper with 11 questions and some questions split. So I think it's...
So what we'll do now is just the technical part for us is just printing off the ballot paper. We've got half of it printed already, what was agreed before we took the break. So it'll just take us a few minutes to do it. I know lunchtime is scheduled for now, but if you wouldn't mind hanging on to cast your vote before you go for lunch. Yes, that's the other thing, is that according to our rules we need 4 people to observe the counting when the counting takes place. So if I could ask for 4 volunteer members to do that. Denise and yes, thank you.
Table 3.
Great. Okay, that's great. So we'll talk to you about doing it on a rotation so you can have a break. But just to say, so we'll have the ballot paper as quickly as possible. We'll set up the desks in the normal way, and you'll be directed to the correct table for you to collect your ballot paper and register and so on. And we hope to do it as quickly as possible. So maybe less than 10 minutes, I think, before the ballot paper is available. Thanks.